Good evening and welcome to our November Recreation Commission meeting. Please note this meeting is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18 and in accordance with MCL Chapter 3820, we must inquire whether anyone is taping this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known.
Sandra Merritt recording for purposes of in the minutes.
Thank you, Sandra. So let's begin with our roll call. We'll start off with Tim.
Here.
Brendan.
Brendan is here.
Excellent. And Tim, I'd ask you to, Jim, I'm sorry, I'd ask you to just give me a thumbs up and I will acknowledge your presence on our Zoom call. And we do have our liaison, Nick, with us. All right, so let's start off with an action to move on our minutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Motion.
And do I have a second?
Brennan Burke seconds.
Thank you. All in favor for approving the minutes from our October meeting, say aye. Aye. I think we have to go through the formalities. Renee present, Renee yes for the minutes. And we'll go around, everyone has to say yes, their name and yes.
Brendan Burke says yes.
Tim Luce says yes.
And Jim gives us a thumbs up if you can.
He put a yes on there.
So moved, very good. So we have the minutes motion to approve as written. We'll go right into old business. Do we have any old business to report on? I just want to say that there have been several outreach attempts. I know that John reached out to someone who contacted me that is interested in joining the Recreation Commission. They are probably going through the approval process, but we still have openings if the viewing audience is interested in joining the Recreation Commission. We meet on the first Monday of every month, and we would be very interested in your participation. And anyone else have anything to say about our old business of seeking new commissioners? All righty. Hearing none, we're going to go right into new business with the update on the Recreation Commission commissioner seats. I guess I just did that. The next item on our agenda is for Mark Bordley to give us an update on the Youth and Community Center. Mark.
Thank you, Renee. We have put in for fee increases that were submitted to the town manager's office. There will be a public hearing on those November 15th. We've filled most of our slots for recreation assistants for the gym and the rink, but still looking for more ticket takers and rink staff for our busy 12 weeks coming up. Advertising wise, we've rebooted our advertising in our rinks and are presently conducting the same sort of reboot in our gym for the banner spaces. Ads are being captured right now that will run out in June 30th, 2024. So we're trying to lock people in for the next couple of years in that reboot. In the ice news, all Barnstable High School boys and girls and St. John Paul hockey schedules have been made and signed off on by the schools. So we're all set on those three teams playing at the facility. All their practices are scheduled out as well. We are trying to get back to kind of pre-COVID type delivering of rink programs. So we're adding in more public skate times, walk-on times, stick practices, trying to kind of match up with the gym. So we're kind of delivering those programs every day if we can. Adult groups are good. Our numbers are back to pre-COVID as far as pretty much most of the groups. The only thing is not back is our adult league. Let's see, the Born Skating Club is in for their December 9th through the 11th, their Cape Cod Synchro Classic. That'll be a big tournament for us in December. On the gym front, this was a check minus on my part, a mistake on the Sturgis volleyball. I think the night I wrote these out, they were in that game, but they have concluded their season. All went well. All of our winter groups for basketball, volleyball, everything is back on and inputted for our winter season out of the gym. And also the Discovery RC Flying Club will be back on the weekend. Once again, that had kind of left after with the whole COVID fiasco, but they'll be coming back. On everyday program news, our SOAR Schools Out After School recreation program, session 1 is sold out. We're seeing we have 48 participants signed up and registered and seeing about 40 plus per day showing up. Our Learn to Skate classes started last weekend. We had 42 registrants altogether, so that's going well. And pickleball started last week, our indoor season, with 24 participants Monday and Wednesdays, and a recreation session on Monday and a competitive session on Wednesday. So all's going well, kind of all across the board at the HYCC.
That is an outstanding report, and great to hear that the numbers are back where they were before COVID. Any questions from the commissioners? All right, hearing none, I will move right
Thanks for
into.
the report, Mark. Yeah, I kind of feel bad because like I just want to just throw out, like we do hear the reports, and it's like, thank you for sharing. Like, just because I don't have any questions doesn't mean like I don't want to make it sound like I don't care, right?
Gotcha. Thanks, Brendan.
So we're going to move right into John's report.
All right, thank you, Renee. Good night. As Mark said in his opening things, we had our fee increases due to the town manager. And again, that meeting is on November 15th. We discussed all our proposed fee increases with you all last meeting. So hope all goes well for us at that meeting on the 15th. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to stop by Osterville Bay, the new field that was completed. It looks beautiful. So if you haven't had a chance, swing on by. Hopefully start of the spring, we'll have girls softball. We'll have probably a little league baseball out there practicing. We'll probably have some adult softball groups out there. So it'll be nice to see that field up and running come the spring. The pickleball courts, we got shipped out some windscreens that should be going up at some point in the near future to kind of limit the wind at the court. If you're not familiar with pickleball, the wind can, change the ball pretty significantly during play. So these windscreens hopefully will alleviate some of the, concerns people have. Not that they're big concerns, but it will just help the play out at those courts. And also some paint needs to be touched up in some areas where it didn't really bond well to the court surface originally. They came out and fixed it, and they have to do kind of one more touch up, and they'll do that in the spring when the weather gets a little nicer. We recently met for the Centerville Playground. The committee met to go over potential layout and potential equipment options. Councilor Asselis, who's on the meeting, was in attendance to that as well. And it seems like things are heading in the right direction for that project. We got an update through the Mass Park and Rec Association to take this new American Red Cross inclusion training. So our staff has gone on and done an online assessment to learn more about how we can be more inclusive when we're teaching our CPR and first aid. So we value inclusion and we do that in all our programs. So it was just a way for us to kind of think about it when we're actually teaching something different than we normally do, and how we can include those things when we're, again, training people in CPR and first aid. And then over the past month, George Noonan has had some youth commission meetings and some subcommittee meetings. I do know that he did reach out to them to be on the meeting tonight, and unfortunately they're not here. I did send him a text at the beginning of the meeting, but I haven't heard back. But it looks like they might not be on the meeting today, but I could give a little report at the end about how they're doing. Even though we're into November, we do still have aquatic things going on. We did send out a thank you letter to all our seasonal staff with a seasonal calendar, which I do believe you guys have received that in the past, and we'll make sure you get one for this year. So that thank you and that calendar just went out over the past month. We are entering in all our mail-in beach stickers currently. We've been doing that for the past couple months, but people are getting emails. So when we're inputting something that you probably purchased in, April, May, June, July, you're now getting these emails to say that you've purchased a beach sticker. So we put something up on our Facebook page. The town is also going to be sending messaging out that they're not scam emails. They shouldn't be alarming. It's just we're putting everything into our online database. So when we send out our new information for 2023, we've captured everyone into the database to give out all the current information. So if the public is questioning that, they can always give me a call, send me an email. But again, it's not a scam email. You should not be alarmed by it. And then recently I did attend with George Noonan, our assistant director, and Kelly Crowley, one of our program coordinators, to the Cape and Islands Beach Managers meeting. We meet twice a year to go over beach related stuff, kind of pre and post season. And it was interesting to kind of hear all the other communities and, what they go through every summer, very similar to us. And we kind of just share ideas to make things better for all of us going forward for the future. Recreational programs this past month in October. Unfortunately, we lucked out this summer with no rain, but this October we experienced a lot of rain. So we had to, cancel some programs, and we'll have to make them up. But we had a lot of rainouts this past month. DPW helps us a lot in different capacities, but they did help us take down our street soccer cage that was in the parking lot of the youth center. And we're putting that away for the season. Number one, it doesn't get used as much in the cold weather. Plus, with Mark's busy rink and gym schedule this winter, we need all the parking we can get for those big activities. So we took it down, but we'll put it back up again in the spring. Let's see. We participated in the Open Streets event at downtown Hyannis. We had a staff member out there, the last one, to partake in all the fun and games and activities on Main Street. So we had a presence there at Open Streets, and we try to do that as much as possible. We just had our Not So Scary Halloween, and we changed our venue from the Barnstable Intermediate School to the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. The HYCC always does a spooky skate. So with our Not So Scary Halloween, we kind of combined the two together, and the building was packed. It was busy. It was great to have all these people coming and going from hockey, from the public skate into our event. It was really nice to see that happen. And going forward in the future, we're going to continue to hold it here at the HYCC. It just makes sense. And it was a great venue to host the event. Due to COVID, we didn't run our Halloween event, but we did a scarecrow contest. So we're still kind of holding some of those online social media contests so people can participate if they still don't want to do something in person. And we announced our winners on our social media page that people had, scarecrows in their yards and stuff like that. So we just want to kind of get in the theme of Halloween and do some fun little stuff. In October, we had a Barnstable Recreation Volleyball Night for Barnstable High School Volleyball. It was well attended, but there was a little issue with the team coming in late. So that kind of impacted the night a little bit. They were playing Westboro, who was, I want to say, like 2 hours late because their bus broke down on the highway. It ended up being like an epic match that went till almost 10 o'clock at night. A little late for the Red Kids, but it was a phenomenal night. And we appreciate all the girls on the volleyball team and Coach Turco for being involved in that. Let's see. We have our winter registration coming up this Wednesday, November 9th. And over the October, we got out the brochure. We sent out emails to all the people that are in our system. So hopefully they're ready to go, ready to sign up for our programs this come this Wednesday. So that's kind of it for recreational type things. Aside from that, the Youth Commission has been meeting. George Noonan, our assistant director, is in charge of the group now. And they are, at the time, they were in their planning stages of the Substance Abuse Forum, which now that is finalized for November 14th. And a flyer should be going out to all the schools and through the email communications for that. It's going to be at Barnstable High School in the library, I believe. And again, we'll put all that information out as soon as possible. And they're in the, just like us with you guys in the Rec Commission, they're in the recruiting process for new members for the Youth Commission. So if there's any parents or grandparents or whoever out there listening, and your child is a Barnstable resident that attends any school in Barnstable, whether it's Barnstable High School, Sturgis, Pope John Paul, Cape Cod Academy, even if they attend some other school, they can be a part of this group, and we are looking for new members for that. Hopefully, we will get the Youth Commission on for next meeting so they can tell you a little bit more about what they're doing. But that's my report for the night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. I would add the Trinity Academy also is in our geography, and that outreach for all the students out there to consider joining our Youth Commission. It's a great commission, and I know several of the schools now require the service hours, and that would definitely go into the category of service hours. Any questions for John? Okay, I'm going to move us into our CPC report with Jim.
Can you hear me now?
Ken?
Awesome. So our last meeting for CPC, we didn't have any rec projects per se. We're still waiting for the Osterville playground to come forward. I guess the town engineering offices are probably a little backlogged on getting some of that stuff, but we're waiting for that project to come before us, which will kind of help to round out that facility over in Osterville with the brand new field, which looks fantastic. I was over there the other day. One thing I just want to mention, I did send an email over to John, who I know passed it to DPW, but over at Luke's Love, looks like we need a little bit of love over on that playground. There's a couple big holes in the poured rubber, which I'm assuming are covered under a warranty at this point. Do you know anything about that, John, maybe?
Yeah, I sent an email this morning over to DPW. He's Mark Marinaccio is working with Nancy White, our playground guru expert, and they're strategizing what the best way to fix the problem. I don't know if it's still covered in the warranty of the initial pouring of the playground, but they are strategizing ways to remedy that. He did mention that, in a lot of areas near swings, near the slides, that sometimes these things can happen with the amount of use that it gets in those areas. So hopefully that they can, fix that fairly quickly. I also did an email from Suzanne Powers, who's involved with the playground there as well, for some other little touch-ups that need to be done over there. So, whenever anyone in the public sees issues at any of our playgrounds, fields, tennis courts, anywhere, really, it's really helpful that, people call in, email us in. We live in a very big town, a lot of square miles to cover. So we, the rec division or even Mark here in the building, we can't see everything all the time. So it's always helpful that people do send the stuff in, because we can say, yeah, thank you for sending that in. We already know about it. We're fixing it. Or no, hey, this is something new. Thank you for letting us know. And again, we can get the appropriate people to tackle the issues. And again, like I said before,
Yeah, absolutely.
DPW does a tremendous job helping us out with solving some of these issues.
Yeah, obviously we've got a ton of sites that are, obviously DPW is not going to a playground on a daily basis, but as CPC, that's one of the big things with CPC is as we fund projects, we just want to make sure they're maintained properly going forward. That being said, there's definitely still room for recreation projects if we know of fields and want to continue down. I know CPC definitely took the list from our last field study, kind of that top 10, and definitely have used that kind of going forward, which Renee, maybe once we get some of these new members, I don't know if it's maybe worth looking at doing another kind of field trip study and get some of the new members out to the sites. And I don't know if we go quite in depth as the last one, but it may not be a bad idea to start to update some of that stuff as it's coming up, I don't know, 4 or 5 years at this point.
So Jim, I appreciate that. My hope is that when we get the additional recreation commissioners, that maybe we as a commission can either do a short kind of tour of some of the areas that may need our attention, and also a little brainstorming amongst us. I know that there was a pretty good initiative with one of the commissioners who moved out of the area for a potential fundraiser to kind of actually supplement that scholarship bucket. And the pickleball community is one of those communities that I'm very grateful for their courses, their pickleball courts, and maybe would be a nice kind of a tournament that we haven't done before. So yes, I'd like to bring the new commissioners up to speed in terms of the breadth of properties and facilities that fall under recreation. And the other wish is to look at some kind of a commissioner fundraising event that can help our folks. So I do see a new person who just joined us. Is that a wonderful participant from the youth commission group? Is that Jaden, or do we know who that person is?
Yeah, Jaden's on the
I do.
Okay. So Jaden is one of our youth commissioners or someone else?
I believe he is on youth commission now.
I am on the youth commission. I'm waiting for my other youth commission member, Connor O'Reilly, to join as well.
Okay, welcome. We are delighted to have you, and we'll give it a second. So while we wait, let me see if there are other matters not reasonably anticipated for this agenda that we need to discuss. And do we have any public comment this evening? Nick, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. So I'm going to just open the floor. Is there anything on your mind? It's always great to have you with us in our monthly meetings.
No, happy to be here. I've as John mentioned earlier, I was in the meeting most recently regarding the playground in Centerville, and that looks like it's moving along, and have some ideas that John and I are going to bounce off each other in the near term about that project. But otherwise, no, nothing new for me to report. Just happy to be here, and anything you guys need, by all means, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that. All righty. So Jaden will give your teammate a few more seconds and then we'll move into your report.
Renee, while we're waiting for that, John, are we out to bid yet for the playground? I'm sorry I missed the last meeting on that, but are we kind of looking with bids and getting ready for construction next spring or fall yet, or?
They are still working with Nancy White to finalize what equipment we're actually gonna select. And then they're gonna work with Amber Patterson from procurement to start working on all those things.
Okay.
So nothing finalized as of yet. But they are continuing to work on it daily.
And will you let us know when the RFPs are out for bid? I know a few people have asked, and I'd love to be able to put that on as part of our update.
Sure, yeah, definitely I can do that.
Okay, so I see Connor, who's gonna help us by starting the Youth Commissioners update.
Hello, I'm Connor from the Youth Commission. So the first thing I was going to talk about was recruitment. So we've recently just got 2 new members, but we're still looking for more because we really have like an older group right now. So we're trying to get younger kids to join. So we have a future basically. And because we have no 8th graders or freshmen right now, which is not good for our future. And that's kind of all for that. And then another thing was the substance abuse forum, which is a week from today. And that's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. And currently we have 2 speakers for that event. We normally have 3, but Dr. Ciavola wasn't able to make it. So we have Officer Sample and Officer Downs, which are both great. And the Hidden in Plain Sight trailer. So it should be still a very informative event for us. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions from our recreation commissioners? I just know I wanted to say that I'm so delighted that both of you are participating as youth commissioners. We will do our part, each of us, and kind of get the word out that this is a great opportunity for students grades 8 through 12, and we'll put a little focus on the 8th graders and 9th graders to fill that gap. So we do have a pipeline for this this organization. Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Not at the moment.
Just a comment, I'm happy to see you young men on here. Connor, I don't know you personally, but Jaden happens to be my cousin, so I did hear a rumor, Jaden, that you were gonna be here, so I'm happy to see you, buddy.
Great to see you too, Tim.
Bye.
And we're gonna make you comfortable so that next time you can put your cameras on so we can see you, but we'll give you a little pass this time. I know how it might, oh, there you are. Hey, great to see you. It's always nice to put a face when possible to the name and to the voice. So do we have any? Go
I haven't
ahead.
seen Connor since Little League, so Connor, good to see you, and say hi to your mom and dad for me, please.
I will.
All right, take care.
All righty, so I don't see any other new news. I really do appreciate folks showing up here for our meetings. I have a few ideas that I will follow up with Mark and John and with Jim for our next meeting, which is on Monday, December the 5th. And if there aren't any other comments or updates, I'm going to close our November meeting.
If you'll excuse me, I'd just like to mention after our substance abuse forum, which is
Yes.
coming up soon, after that, the next main event we're going to focus on is the youth summit, and we don't have a like pinpoint date for that yet, but that will be another big event that is soon upcoming. We also have some new One Love facilitators, and me, Connor, and I believe two other youth commission members went to a like higher training thing, and we went through that. So One Love, we also have set up pretty well.
Excellent. So we have the youth summit to look forward to and more of your continuous work with the One Love effort that you all are involved in. Those are two great things. All righty. So without any further delay, I will have a motion to close out our November meeting.
So moved.
And a second.
Second,
And we'll go through and I will just say, Tim, do you agree?
yes.
And Brendan
Brendan Burke agrees.
and Jim.
Yes.
And again, have a great November. And this is the month for giving thanks. And I'm thankful for each of you all, but I also extend that thanks to our families, our friends, and to our community. Have a good night.